So a rag bot is something like a chatbot connected to a memory, connected to an AI agent, and basically it will allow the AI agent to go into that memory and retrieve the most relevant memory to give the relevant output for what the users is prompting for. So that's the generic idea of a rag bot, right? So recently I've been helping a client to build this, and we realized that with Claude's capabilities nowadays and with a bit of training on how to use it more effectively, it can actually replace what the rag bot can do already if the users know how to direct the Claude agent as to where to look for the files in the first place. What do you think about this?
I think you're onto something real. If users can explicitly guide Claude to specific information sources, you're cutting out the entire retrieval layer, which is elegant, honestly. The memory management becomes the user's responsibility rather than the system's. But that trades complexity for transparency and control. The catch I'd wonder about, does that work at scale, or mainly for power users who know exactly what they're asking for? Like, does a typical user really want to say, look in document X, section Y every time, or does that friction add up?
So for a typical business user, probably will not know the ins and outs of like how a rag bot works. But for the Claude, like for using Claude, right? I'm talking about like using Claude desktop app. They just have to learn just a tiny bit to learn how to retrieve those files in order for them to do their work, which is pretty good enough. Especially if the number of files that you are processing is not like in the millions, right? So I guess with the improvement in AI capabilities nowadays, actually a lot of the past technologies may be obsolete very, very soon. What do you think about this?
Yeah, that's a fair point. If the learning curve is minimal and it works for realistic file volumes, then you've basically democratized what used to need specialized infrastructure. And you're right that this is a broader pattern. As AI gets better at understanding context and following nuanced instructions, a lot of retrieval and orchestration complexity just evaporates. But I'd push back slightly on obsolete. I think what changes is the threshold. The moment you hit millions of files or need real-time freshness or can't afford users managing their own queries, that's when the old tech becomes necessary again. So maybe not obsolete, but definitely unnecessary for most cases.
What do you think that threshold is for enterprises or for companies?
It's genuinely hard to pin down because it depends more on friction tolerance than file count. A company with 10,000 files but zero patience for users learning a new workflow might still need automation, while another with a million files where people are comfortable directing. Claude might be fine as is. That said, if I had to guess a rough threshold, I'd say somewhere around 50,000 to 100,000 documents is where the manual direction gets annoying enough that you'd want the system to be smarter about retrieval on its own. But honestly, what's your sense from working with your client?
Okay, I think maybe even 10,000 documents will be quite a lot already. But okay, I think that's a good enough answer. Thank you.